You're listening to the AVIT Amplifier. Each week, we'll feature voices and ideas that need to be amplified in the higher education and pro-AV IT communities. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. And now here's your host, Ryan Gray.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for clicking on the button next to the AVIT Amplifier again. Without fail, on Wednesday, we will be here for you, and we are back week 2 with Joé Lloyd. So, Joey, please, first, if you didn't hear last week, just pause, go back, listen to last week. You need to do that. Joey, who are you and what do you do?
I am Joé Lloyd. I am the Senior Director of Business Development at AVIXA.
And why is there so much noise in the background of this recording today if you're not watching?
Well, because we are on the last day of a very super cool show called Enterprise Connect happening here in Orlando, Kissimmee.
Yeah. And we got the chance to grab you for the show in person. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. Okay, buckle up. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Here's first question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert.
Why? How do you know?
A lot of self-therapy. Because I really don't like being alone.
Yeah.
I really like humans.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I have learned to respect my alone time. The more I travel, the more I have learned to love my home time. But I am absolutely an extrovert who thrives on people. And particularly, I thrive with family and close friends. I have learned that it's not technically a love language. I think I have every love language.
Right.
But my giving love language is food, and it is cooking. And my favorite thing is a holiday table, no matter the holiday, filled with family and children and noise and loud and chaos.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So is that probably a question that answers itself, but drawing you then into the career path we've taken certainly seems like a sort of, the jobs and roles that keep you in places that have noise, hustle and bustle, or has it not been like that?
No. I have the strangest looking resume and career path. No, I don't think it has anything to do with that at all.
Okay. So then how do you ensure that you can keep up that extroverted energy in your career? Or is it really truly like, I don't need it in my career because I know how to fill that cup with family and friends and other things?
It's a great question. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that. I don't know that I've ever put that specific thought into it. I look at the culture of organizations. I look at, can I do the job? Can I learn from the job? I started my career sort of in what we'll call it my corporate career later than most. And so I think I found out late in life that I actually really enjoy learning.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was not one of those kids who loved school, didn't love college, didn't leave college feeling like, whoo, got that covered. I'm good. And so when I discovered that I actually enjoy learning how businesses work and what makes them tick and how to make things better, I've always looked for things that keep my mind going. If I am bored, that's not a good thing. So that's more the way I think about it rather than do I get to express myself. I do have to make sure and tell people a little bit more about me, particularly how I manage or how I am, in that way. My bosses tend to know.
Yeah. Yeah. You're fine vocalizing that.
Yes. They know that I'm going to vocalize a lot.
Yeah.
But I do make a point to tell people, I'm really loud, I'm chatty, I'm going to call you, we're not going to email. Like that's like, there are ways in which I do things. So I try to respect that and tell people that I am loud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't had to turn the mics down or anything. You're not that loud.
Well, that's because you've got a microphone in front of me and a headset on. So I've got real cues to tell me to keep it.
Don't keep it down. People want to hear what you have to say. You're good. Okay. So going back then to the beginning, corporate, like, what was your very, very first job?
My very, very first job. There, goodness, I don't remember which order they came in. So there was a bakery, who made chocolate bagels on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Which was the most amazing thing ever. And it really just started my love of carbs. While I am terrible with math, I can count change. I can count real change.
Okay.
So there was that.
That's a lost art.
Yeah, it is. I worked in the teenage boy section of Sears for a summer.
Okay.
My favorite, worst first job. I worked at Claire's.
Oh, okay.
And I pierced ears.
You stabbed people. You put holes in people.
The worst is putting holes in babies. Oh yeah. No, I had to stop doing that. That's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a first. I've never.
I told you I have a very strange career path.
That's awesome. All right. So let's talk about that. If you're piercing ears, it feels like there's kind of two sets of people, and tell me if I'm wrong, which is people who are enthusiastic about getting a piercing, they've chosen to do it, and people who are their parents are having them do it. They're a baby or a kid, like you're old enough now, you need to get your ears pierced.
Wow. There's a lot in that question.
Yeah.
So ear piercing has gotten way better.
Yeah.
So first of all, for all the new moms out there who might be listening to Mr. Brian Gray here, because I'm sure there's a ton of you, you can have your doctor's office do it. It's definitely do that. It's way better. If I had girls, I would have taken that path.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that. Number two, it's kind of a rite of passage. So as a girl, getting your ears pierced is a thing. And there is a thing called a piercing gun, and they have them at Claire's, but now they have these super cool stores that, are a little bit more your tattoo parlor without it, exactly being that.
Being grungy.
Yeah. Piercing guns are loud and they are chaotic, and they're kind of horrible, but they are a rite of passage. And for any of the women out there who are in my sort of age range, we just all did it.
Yeah.
Piercing babies' ears who can't make that decision for their own rite of passage. I totally get it, because they're never going to remember, and there is no judgment here, but as a human, I just didn't want to do that ever again.
So that was my question. How did you, obviously, your reaction
I have a real story.
Yeah. How did you cope with doing that in the time that you did it? You know what I'm saying?
I sort of just dealt with it until I had a woman who brought in a very young daughter, and there's a purple pen. You mark the ear, and then you pierce the ear. And we did it, and it seemed like it was reasonably straight, but we're also talking about a 3-month-old, and that Mom didn't like it. Mom took the earrings out, let the holes close, and then she came back a couple months later, and I recognized them. And she's sitting and she's holding the baby, and I take out the pen, and the baby remembered, and the baby recognized the pen, and that was it. I was just like, nope, that's that. I will, if you can tell me you want your ears pierced, I am down. That's your rite of passage. I don't care what age you are, but I personally can't do this anymore.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's an interesting place to begin a career. I'm trying to think, what I want to do is go
where do you go from there?
Well, no, what did that prepare? What lessons did you learn that prepared you for your current role at AVIXA by poking holes in babies when you were spreading that role?
Yeah, no, poking holes in babies does not prepare you for anything.
Got it.
However, I don't know. I think I hear this a lot, that everyone should have at some point in their life a service role. Yeah. So whether that's food or it's retail. And I did retail. I did more than Claire's. Retail is my, I did my time. And I do believe that everyone should, because you really do learn how, you learn how to navigate humans, right? On their best days, their worst days, all of that. And that is a skill that everyone should have.
Just needs.
But you also learn a lot about yourself and kind of how to deal with things and service there. So I went from piercing ears to doing makeup. So anyone who knows me knows that I was a makeup artist for a long time. And there is a very special place in my heart for it. I'm a girly girl. Everybody knows that about me. I find nothing better than helping another woman to feel special and feel beautiful. And that's what I got out of that service. And so we could say that my retail jobs, taught me how to serve the community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would agree. People need those jobs early on to do that. That's I ask that question of almost everybody, and from newspaper thrower to ice cream to Chris Netto working in his uncle's pizza shop, right?
There you go. I didn't do the food thing.
Right. I didn't either. I'm one of those few people that I never worked in food service. And that's kind of I almost feel like I should go back and do it just because everybody has to be involved in it at some point.
Did you do retail though?
Did I do retail?
Did you not?
Oh, yes, I did. I had one little stint where I was a manager in like a chain that did sold supplements and stuff.
You did the thing.
I did. I didn't like doing it.
I mean,
but what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'll give you a choice. You want the serious question or the non-serious question?
I don't know.
All right. Let's go with the non-serious question. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Adele, or Beyonce?
What are we doing?
Which one do you choose?
Well, I mean, are we singing in the car? Are we going to a concert? I mean, what are we doing?
We'll start with those. Which if we're singing in the car, which one is it?
Okay, so I'm going to definitely show my age. I kind of love I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. I think I'm actually too old to be a huge Beyonce fan. I kind of just missed the window. But I do love Adele. But I got to go with Whitney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in all of fourth grade, I wanted to be Whitney.
Yeah.
And so we're on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm a very white woman. And I know this.
Everybody can see.
Yes,
there's Joey right
I'm
there.
a very white woman, and I really, really, really wanted to be Whitney Houston when I was about 9 years old. And my mom had actually let me cut my hair, which was a big deal. And so I had a bob and I had a perm and I wore a big bow off to the side with my permed hair every day for a year.
Yes. No, I get it.
And I really want to dance with somebody. Whitney's my girl.
So it's the 80s Whitney, the big curly hair. And so the question is, if you're singing in the car,
she's on my liked list of what I
for sure.
To. Yeah.
So is it I want to dance with somebody? Is that's the bop that gets you going? Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I'm not really allowed to sing in public. So
I've tried that. I've tried to get people to do voices and sing and all because I have fun doing. Nobody wants to. I don't put people.
I've been told that I sing between the melody and the harmony. I don't know what that means.
That's a good joke, right?
But I'm
No, me neither. No, me neither. Okay, that's a good answer. I like that. So then the Whitney follow-up is always then, sounds like you're more of a pre-Bodyguard Whitney fan as opposed to post.
I mean, I'm sort of all of it, but probably pre.
Yeah. I like, that's good. That's good. I like that no one's voice quite at that time had, what I'm saying, what she was doing.
Music is one of those things that I think is amazing. I'm not the biggest music fan. I mean, I'm not, I'm not collecting records. It's not on all the time everywhere. But music has such memory and emotional tie. Like, I can remember, where I was, what I was doing, how, from my boombox with the record to make my own mixtapes to, going home and watching MTV every afternoon, just all of those things that go along with it. And that's good. That's amazing.
People still talking from the ceiling.
They need to stop. Don't they know that I am important here?
I know, and I can't understand most of what they say when they do it.
Oh, I've never been able to understand what they said.
Somebody should help them with their audio system here in this.
I think there might be some people that could do that.
That could do that around here.
I'm pretty sure I see that green sign over there.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely some people who could assist, and I won't say that. I won't say the brand on the speakers in the ceiling, but I actually don't think it's their fault. I feel like
I can't see that far because I don't have my glasses. So.
All right. The serious question then.
Yes.
Do you believe that humans are generally good with a proclivity for evil, or generally evil with a proclivity for good?
Generally evil with a proclivity of good.
Why?
Oh. This is a very serious question. I think our world is going through a lot right now. And I think that anyone from any generation might say that it has always felt this way for other reasons. But I think that there is a lot going on. I will share that I am a white woman who absolutely sits in a seat of privilege. I have raised two white men who I don't think are amazing, who also sit in a seat of privilege. However, I am also a proud Jewish mother. And as I watch what is going on in our world, when I watch what is going on as a citizen of our country and how we are dealing with our borders and our humans and our women, it takes away the shine, unfortunately. So I love the good humans, but it's hard to, they seem like they're fewer and far between.
Yeah, it seems like
it's a little dark. I apologize.
No, there's no wrong answer to that question, and you're right. It can feel like there are good and there are evil, and for some reason the evil just seem to be getting better and better at what they do and more effective.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just looking for an answer of what to do about it. So
I feel like if we all just sort of led with, I'm going to be a decent human, I'm going to try to be decent, the world would be a better place. It's hard because we all have our own reasons to be selfish. But if we could try to put those aside, it feels like the world would be a better place.
So does that sort of, that root of what feels like evil behavior, do you feel like selfishness or thinking of self before others is a root part of it? Or
I'm trying to keep my political stuff all inside because that's sort of where this is stemming from.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we make decisions a lot, and myself included. Right? I'm not excluding myself here. We make decisions about what's best for us, what's best for our families. And I think that decision making somehow seems to have gotten more selfish.
Yeah.
We make decisions, for financial features, and sort of leave other things behind because, well, it's my money and it's my this and it's my, and I think that if sometimes we think about, what, it's not going to really cost me anything or, be sort of that decent human, or I can't look past this thing anymore. Sorry, I'm trying to weave around and it's hard to do.
You're right. So and we can move on, but like that sort of the feeling that the world is zero sum. Therefore, anything that I give to another is something less for me. There's a little bit like, no, your job is to gather your pile, you know what I'm saying, for you, or in whatever context. And it feels like it wasn't that long ago that like a rising tide floats all boat. We're not zero sum, right? There's room for us all to help each other, to think of each other first, and that will float everybody, regardless if it's financial or educational or whatever area you want to look at. Like,
yeah, I mean, sort of lighten it. So women, if you sort of pay attention to all of our female channels, we talk a lot about we can all have crowns, right? We can all support one another. You need that friend who is so proud of you, who is your cheerleader. Think about, I don't know, for me, I mean, that's what I always think about. How good do I feel when I do that for someone else, whether it is a man, a woman, a child, whatever. That's one of the things I took from my family growing up was you should always be able to go home at night and look in the mirror. And that's a really cliche thing to say, but I want to be able to look in the mirror and go, I clearly recognize my mistakes and I'm going to learn from them. But I'm pretty good with the person I was today.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't, what do I need to fix?
I'm glad I spent my time the way I did. I only have a certain amount of time, and I want to be proud of what that is. It's like you said, when you say it, it sounds simple, but how many of us think about that on a regular basis? You know what I'm saying? See, that's very good advice from Joé Lloyd. Okay. Everyone has a story of falling backwards into AV, and we talked a little bit about, like, once you're in, you can't get out, you're stuck in it. But in the version of the multiverse where you don't end up in the AV industry,
oh goodness,
what might you have done, but what you think what would you be really good at? Like, what's the alternate career that you could have been successful?
Everything, all the things, none of the things. Clearly I said I was a makeup artist.
Yeah.
It made me really, really happy.
Yeah.
I unfortunately could not take care of myself and my children in the way that I needed to do that. But I love that. So there is that. I also not so secretly want to have a bed and dinner. So we've all heard of bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And I love breakfast, don't get me wrong. I just don't really like cooking breakfast. And I think it's really hard to cook breakfast for groups of people.
Yeah.
So I want to have a bed and dinner.
Yeah.
I love doing like slow cooker, big family style meals. So I want to have, one of those, cool Victorians. We're gonna serve dinner. And I'm gonna have farm animals. So I'm gonna have some chickens, I'm gonna have some goats, there's gonna be some llamas and alpacas. So that's like my thing. I'm a really good caretaker.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. So I don't know. There's all the things. There's the wish list.
I love that. I would like what you're saying is I need people to come through who I can take care of.
I do.
I can feed them. I can provide them rest. Like, not just hospitality, but that sort of like I'm at my best when I'm doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I probably need some help. I mean, I don't want to do all the work. But the cooking part and the feeding and care of the humans. Like that's
awesome.
That's
awesome.
I can't do plants. I have a black thumb. I kill the plants.
Right.
But the animals and the children.
On it.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Plastic plants are the best. They look pretty good these days, don't they? I mean, you have to dust them every once in a while.
I don't even have anything green in my house.
No?
No.
That's funny. No, my wife plants, like, takes cuttings and can grow things for whatever. And it's cool because there's like stories with them. I like in my office, I have a tree in my office. It's from IKEA. And it looks the same every day. And I don't have to do anything to keep it alive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I killed a tree.
Yeah. What happened to it?
So I bought my house a few years back. And the previous owners had a beautiful potted Japanese maple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it may have froze. Like, I think it may have not totally been my fault because, in Atlanta, occasionally we get some very cold weather. And I think that 0 degree weather, I think just
did it in.
Yeah, it did it in. But I killed my Japanese maple. It's really sad.
Did it have a name?
No.
Okay.
No. It's very embarrassing. Like, I can really animals and children
on it.
Fantastic.
Yes. Plants, let them go. Okay, so when you're looking for a gift for Joey, don't send not plants.
No.
Don't send live thing.
No.
Or send a chicken, not a tree.
Much rather have a llama.
Actually, that's not a bad episode title, which is "Send a Chicken, Not a Tree" with Joé Lloyd. And we might have to go with that. Okay. And I like this question. It's come up with a couple of things, but you'll probably take it seriously, and it's not meant to be serious. When you get fired from AVIXA, why will that have been?
Because my face and my words actually match.
That's a great answer. Because the look on your face that you can't control, but the words that actually, I'm talking over you this time. Oh, for pity's sake. I love that. But yeah, like, okay, you can share if you want, what's the closest call you've had on that so far?
Right. So I think that my my role in communications has made me really a better human. I can, in terms of what you're asking, I I do know how to navigate difficult situations.
Yeah.
I do know how to on camera keep my face the way it needs to be kept. I do know how to turn questions. So I don't think that I've really come close in that sense. But behind the scenes, when it's internal meetings and, you're just getting frustrated and, something is happening. I used to do this. I got called out for that. That's probably the closest I've come. I was told to stop doing this on camera.
Like, that's a little passive aggressive there, Joe.
How frustrated are you that you have to rub the wrinkle out?
Yes. Try this one. This is what I've gone to on my Zoom, which is just the stone face. When somebody's saying something, you're just like, I just stare into their soul and you stop talking. It doesn't work, but you know what I'm saying? It keeps me from doing something else. All right. Well, I look forward to someday the Joey. Well, yeah, I feel like if it's not going to happen, but if it ever did, it would be very entertaining. Like Joey finally just melted down, and like,
well, anyone who knows me in my personal life and not on camera knows that I have the mouth of a sailor. So
it happens. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do?
They say it's because we're really smart.
Yeah.
That's if you read anything about us, bad words.
I know.
Yes, it's because we're incredibly smart.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard too. Yeah. And those other people don't know what they're talking about.
Sticking with that.
I even censored myself. How sad was that? Okay. Last question. No, same 3 last questions for everybody.
Okay.
First, what is a question that you wish people would ask you, but nobody ever does?
So, what did you learn today? I ask my children that.
Mm-hmm.
I have grown men for children, so I don't get to do that as often anymore. But that was my workaround for how was your day? Tell me something you learned today, and I really do like when I learn, even if it's frustrating, right? Yeah. Even if I had to learn something that I should have known. I think it's a great question. It makes somebody really sort of think about.
And it invites a real answer, right? How you doing? Nobody's really asking, or like you said, like, how was your day at school? Fine. Conversation over. What did you learn today?
One thing you learned today.
I love that. That's a very good answer. That may be the best answer so far that I've gotten on that one. Okay. Second to last question is, if people wanted to find you or get a hold of you or learn more about AVIXA or what you do, where would they do?
So you can find me on all of the socials at Joé Lloyd, and you can email me at Joé Lloyd, LLOYD, at avixa.org. Of course, you should go to avixa.org. You should also check out AVIXA Exchange and AVIXA TV.
Yes, and you maybe you're watching us on AVIXA TV right now.
Hey.
You might be. You never know. Okay. Last question. And the setup is terrible. I always cut the setup out because it doesn't work, but it's hard to explain. So, old school newscasters had their sign-off phrase, right? Mm-hmm. Good night and good luck, or in Saturday Night Live, right? Like, I'm Chevy Chase and you're not, or whatever. So, what is Joé Lloyd's sign-off phrase?
It probably has a curse word in it, so we shouldn't say it.
Go for it. You're good.
When I get really excited, so first of all, when I get really, really excited, my voice, the octaves in which my voice raises are really, really impressive. So if I'm ever like ridiculously laughing or ridiculously excited, I'm pretty sure that I can call dogs around the world.
Yes.
But when I get really excited, I also am physical. I get like really
Bouncy.
excited. So it's probably something along the lines of hell yeah, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the AVIT Amplifier. Join us again for next week's episode when we'll welcome a new guest who you'll want to hear from. We promise. Your host has been Ryan Gray. He's on the tweeters at Ryan_A_Gray, or find him on LinkedIn to connect. Please subscribe and give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. Everyone hang in there, go easy, and we'll be back next week.